Good evening, Greenwood. Welcome to Real Conversation with Sean. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jelani.
We come to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 4:30 to 5, bringing you commentary as it relates to the issues we have going on today. I think we may have we may be experiencing some technical difficulties, but we'll be soon to get them worked out. We want to see everybody have a happy Easter. Thumbs up to all the citizens of Greenwood. And I apologize to our listeners right now. We're about to get that problem rectified. Yeah. Way to go, homie. We got an engineer over there working hard, helping us out. Like I said, on the big station, 106.3, Real Conversation. My name is Sean.
And I'm Jelani.
All right, we did that over again. We're going to start it off by letting Mr. Bob talk about our sponsors today.
Our show is brought to you today by Bentus Africa Hair Braiding. It's 1300 Jasper Neely Drive, Grenada, Mississippi, 404-207-3004. They do all types of braids and twists. Go over there, give them a call. They give you a great price. Also brought to you by Come and Go Grocery, 1500 Carrollton Avenue. They have the 2 for $10 t-shirts, the $1 18-ounce beers, and they now accept EBT. Go buy and show them the business.
Okay. We appreciate that, Mr. Bob. We want to talk today about choices. We seem to have our choice of most anything we want to purchase here now today. And I want to talk about how limited our choices are and how we need to start now making sure we have a bountiful, a plenty. We want to have a overwhelming amount of people to choose from in every profession. We want to make sure that opportunity is provided on a more regular basis here. Our citizens are now under some extreme circumstances with our job situation, with our school situation, and we come here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 4:30 to 5 just to put together some encouragement, and also we talk about solutions and things that we can do and have good positive conversation about our issues without turning negative and eliminating can't, eliminating ain't, and just go ahead and do. So what do you think about that, Mr. Bob?
Well, we're most definitely limited here in the Delta when it comes to choices and selections on any level, on the job level, on the consumer level. We have to go out of town for a lot of things. On the housing level, there's only a certain criteria of housing that you can get here in Greenwood, and there's not a wide variety. The variety here has shrunk a lot in all types of categories, all the way across the board. And it just makes you sit back and wonder, wow, what's the cause for all of this? Especially when you look back in the past, and we have those things. We have the opportunities, we have the variety. There was a point in time to where Greenwood was the mecca for the Delta, and pretty much for the majority of the part of northern Mississippi. We had everything that any other big city had. And now, we have decline, really. We have none of those things. And it just makes you wonder, why? What happened that we lost all of that?
Well, I think we should put together, campaigns to address such issues.
Campaigns like what?
Campaign as far as boosting our not only our economy, but boosting, getting our citizens moving back to Greenwood. Our people who left, let's get our census up. We're trying to get our census up, and the more people we have, the more variety we have. And once you have different perspectives, we tend to open our minds to different views. Mm-hmm. And they've experienced, there's a lot going on in our world today. And our kids are up under extreme circumstances. Our prison system is a booming system. versus our education system.
Right.
They're on both. They're on opposite ends of the spectrum. So we want to try to close that gap. We want to try to plant that seed in a young person's mind or anybody within the range of my voice. Anybody that needs encouraging or needs ideas or want their ideas to be acknowledged and looked at from a serious way, not just looking at it for just to look at it, but actually read into some of the ideas of our common everyday people, and they often have the solution to a lot of our ills.
Yeah, I do. I like to put the focus on the leadership, though. The majority of the people, they mainly, they don't control the inner workings of a city or local government. All we do as the people, as the mass, we elect the officials. And the officials are the ones who go in and they make all the decisions in representative of us. They represent us in making those decisions that they make that affect the city. And anytime you leave something in the care of someone, if you get it back, not in the same way you gave it to them, then that's decadent of the way they took care of it. Okay. So you just take Greenwood for example. You look at Greenwood in 1979. I don't know anything about 79, but I just picked that number. Right. Or we can go all the way back, to the 60s. The racial climate might not have been what we designed it to be, but the economic climate, was as far as ownership. Right. A lot of blacks had ownership. They owned things, stores. You look at Maclon. Maclon was full of businesses. You look at places like Wildfall and Main Street. All those places, majority was black owned, and the business was black owned. The money was kept inside the community. But now, after the current leadership took over, we don't have it anymore. And that's why I put the focus on the leadership.
Well, I think it's still. I think the young people coming up today, I don't think they should have to suffer for the lack of what we're doing.
But
they are, but I don't think they should have to suffer.
They shouldn't.
I think that they should be allowed to at least know that there's someone working on a future map for them. A future just set just for them. And I think that if they put themselves in position, and if they show themselves improve right now, I think it would make it more of an emergency, and the people would take notice. Because, like I said on last week, we cannot approach our ills like someone else does in another in another region. We're in a special region. We're in the Mississippi Delta. Our kids and our young people, we're living some historic times now that we never had before. So, each person's, remembrance of history is based on when he or she is born. And the children that are born now are being born to have to face the ills that we have now. Right. So I feel like that it's part of my responsibility, if I have the energy, or if I have the expertise, or I have the will to do so, try my best to encourage that. And that's just what we need to do a lot more of. And I think that teamwork is often overspoken. I know what teamwork is. I've been a part of teams, and I encourage anybody that's listening that when you bring that teamwork aspect to any problem, you seem to come to a consensus faster. It will look like you're getting to the root of the problem, but if you go at it in a I don't want to say
individual,
and with a motive. If you have a ulterior motive, to go at something and it doesn't affect the masses, it's just a personal problem with you. Mm-hmm. I think that if it doesn't help the masses, it's not worth talking about.
Right. And a lot of times their personal problems, they are fought out in public, and the masses are neglected. When you have you just take the National Democratic and Republican scene, they're so busy fighting each other over their personal issues and their propaganda, that they miss out on the people. And that comes back, relates back to our local situation, you know. Our local situation here, it's obvious that you have, you know, two different sides throwing punches. And then those sides throwing punches and, you know, firing this person or talking about that person or doing this to that person, you know, the people in the middle are totally getting looked over. You know, nobody on the bottom is being considered in this. And
I think they should pay more attention. I think they should pay more attention to their tones. We already have a vibe out there in our community with our young people that's is very hostile. So if we got a call on there. Caller, you up?
How you doing, Mr. Pearson and Mr. Barr? Wanted to call in y'all show today because y'all speaking on the inner workings of city government.
Okay.
Yes, and I just wanted to ask either one of you guys if y'all find it quite strange that of all the incidents going on, the incident with Troy Brown and the Grima, you know, and the incident with the police chief that just left, Captain Langdon, and now the issue with Percy Powell. Doesn't it seem strange to either one of y'all that people are constantly pointing toward Karen McAdams as the cause of all this, but no investigation is being done? I mean, what can we as a people that should possibly do?
Well, what I think about the whole deal is, when I witness all of this go on, you know, all I can do is take it back to my young people. I don't want them to witness how we go back and forth and the tones in which we do it. I don't want them to take that and look for it as an excuse for them to do it as well, because we're having a big problem out there because we're not unified. And if we start paying attention to these stories or these different things that they try to get us fixated on, we won't be able to get to help ourselves. I can't come to the defense of people who are already accomplished. My job and my goal in life is to make sure that if I can encourage anybody and everybody to try to be as accomplished as they can be. And so that's where I kind of put my energy at, caller. And I appreciate your sentiment. I feel the same way. When the police chief, when he went on the rant and you know, said all those things, I took it back to what if I had a problem with one of my employers, and could I do it like that? And I said that I wouldn't be able to do it like that because I have to look out for my future, and I won't be able to, you know, go out in a fashion like that. Somebody would have told me to handle it in a more dignified manner.
Okay, well, I have one more question for Mr. Bob.
Okay.
I wanted to know, as someone that's ran a mayoral race, I mean, I know that the next mayoral race isn't coming up until 2016. I was wondering, what would you think would be the earliest that one would need to start campaigning for that race?
Well, you know, preparation is always good. There's not really a set time frame. You know, when you say campaigning, I imagine you mean like doing rallies and putting signs out and things of that nature, right?
Well, I mean, it's going so far as even to announce to the public that you are going to be running. And
okay then. All right. Yeah. Well, I did it. I announced. I believe it was in January, which was like 4 months before the election. Mm-hmm. And like the way I believe in campaigning before it's time to campaign. But you know, not in the traditional way. Campaigning in the sense of, you know, doing things in the community, showing your face in the community, events, all type of things, whatever it is, contributing to the community so that you have some type of background that people can draw off of, you know, when you do come out with the signs and the rallies and the barbecues and things of that nature. So I believe a person should pretty much campaign almost year round, you know, in that regard, what I said earlier about helping people and helping the community and getting your name out there. But as far as coming out with the signs and announcing your candidacy for a political position, I would say maybe 6 months. You know, 6 to 5 months is a good time period and a well enough time period for you to officially come out and officially begin to put your signs out and, you know, put your propaganda out. Did I answer your question? Hello? Okay, all right. Well, I think we lost you there, caller. Although we appreciate your sentiment, appreciate your thoughts. It's very appreciated. We need more of that.
Yeah. I want to add to what he was talking about. As far as when you trying to go out in public service, like Mr. Barr said, is you need to be more visible. A lot of people get looked over because they're not visible, because they're not vocal. That doesn't mean they're not good leaders. That don't mean that they don't have a map or a platform that would take this city forward. We just need to kill that climate of having to be with a particular set and having not being able to stand on our own when it comes to what we want to do in public service. And I would love to see people not be scared or people be able to vote their opinions without being ridiculed, spoke about in a bad manner like we do out here in our city sometimes. And I just like to see a lot less of that going on and a lot more of rallying behind people that have a passion for whatever particular endeavor it is, whether it's teaching, whether it's carpenter work. Let's try to get behind our people and respect them for their crafts, whether they went to school for it or whether they were born with it, genetically, and they just have those passions. So I think we should just encourage, and make a domino effect of success happen here in the Mississippi Delta.
Yeah, that's a good way to open your options up. To open up, going back to what we were talking about earlier, having choices and selections, intercommerce trading with people in your own community, which just basically means spending money and doing business with people in your own community. Is just one avenue, but it also takes help. It takes a lot of help again from the powers that be and people who have the positions and the ability to assist those who probably cannot go out and do the type of things that other people with opportunity can do. A lot, like we said, a lot of people don't have opportunity. So that's where the leadership steps in at, because leadership knows what to do. So they should say, hey, you don't have to go their route, you can go their route. Real Conversations with Sean, brought to you by Benton's Africa Hair Braiding, 1300 Jasperina Drive, Grenada, Mississippi. The number is 404-207-3004. Also brought to you by Come and Go Grocery, 1500 Carrollton Avenue. Go by and get your 2 for $10 t-shirts and your 18-ounce bills for $1. They also accept EBT.
Yeah. Once, I don't think it's right, but I read somewhere, but once we get out of oppression, we start then to oppress. We become that which we hated once upon a time. And I've experienced, I think that is true, because, I put a lot of energy in if someone wronged me, I put a lot of energy in, disliking them or, having thoughts about them. And I don't think that's when you give energy, that's negative energy. So I think positive energy would be to, if I reach, make it out of oppression, gain economic success all of a sudden, or maybe it's over time. Mm-hmm. But I think that, the more people I pull up and help be, self-sustainable, the better you'll do for your community. Right. Whether it's on a local level, statewide, whether you're covering, regardless of the population of the area that you affect, do your best to give back positively to that area. If it's 2 houses, if it's a whole street, if it's a block, if it's a city, try your best to always have positive energy and have something encouraging to tell the people.
Yeah, W.E.B. Du Bois, he's one of the co-founders of the NAACP, something we talked about last week or brought up. He said...
They got a meeting coming up, too.
Yeah, he said that when it comes to the black race, you have what's called a talented 10th, which means that only 10%, no matter what their situation is, whether they're poor, poverty, slave, whatever, only 10% of the black race will succeed and do fine, despite their situation. Situations do not matter to this 10%. And the other 90% will stay exactly where they are, which is the low income and this and that and this and that. But the catch is, so here's the catch, that the 10% will never do what it takes to go bring the 90% up. You know, and you hear it a lot of times when you hear people of stature who made it certain places when they say, "Oh well, home has to do this," you know, and home has to do that. But as I say all the time, you know, home can't teach what it doesn't know. And if you look at your different political leaders, you know, just sit back and take a look at your political leaders. You know, they live better than you do. The houses are better than yours. The cars, so forth and so on. That's not the way it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to gain success and notoriety and money, then become a politician. You know, that's not the way it's supposed to work. Politicians are supposed to be represented by their people. If your people are living, you know, a certain way, then so should the politician.
Right.
And the politician live in a certain way, so should the people. The politician should represent the people. And if you look at your local politician or preacher or whoever is in leadership or responsibility for you, and they're living better than you, then it's not all the way necessarily your fault, because there are so many avenues, so many ways that they can help improve your situation.
But it's not necessarily their fault for their success. Let's you know, because you gotta, when you're speaking to the Mississippi Delta, I'm all you know, I practice being a few steps ahead. You feel what I'm saying? And when you
saying it's not the people who made it fault for their success.
I'm saying
it's not the people who made it. It's not their fault that the other people
for their success.
Right. It's not right. They had help.
Right.
They had help.
Right. Exactly.
So
exactly.
What I'm saying is we're, and when you're talking in the Mississippi Delta, you gotta make sure you address the comeback.
You do. You have to already know what I'm gonna say.
You gotta be able to address the comeback. And when you say things, and I know where you're coming from, but I want my young people to know there are different genres of conversation out there. There are different, and the more you know about your history, the more you know about your state and local government, the more you know about your foreign languages, the more conversations you can be involved in, and huge business relationships are formed over conversations, sports activities, lunches, you know, drinks, golf. You know, I've already said sports, but you know what I'm talking about. And we need to prepare our young people to be able to excel, you know, outside the box as well as within their
to learn how to network. You know, we talked about this with someone the other day. Education is used now as a facade, you know, to hide that they're not actually giving people the education they need. The education in which people are receiving is an education to become basically what is called a dressed-up plantation worker. You know, ownership is the key to true success. You know, having something of your own, having property, being able to employ other people and eventually help them get to ownership. So when you don't have that, you know, when you not have that being taught, then, you know, they're going to grow up to be exactly what that type of education tells them to be. And what has to happen, like you said, they have to be taught how to network. You know, they have to tell them, well, hey, when you get to college, you're going to spend 12, 13 hours on projects. You're going to be up late at night. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be all peaches and cream. And also, you can go to college and get your degree and still come out and not get a job because you don't know the person who is doing the hiring. And someone who has not done all that they need to do, they have that job.
That's why I always stress, being from the Mississippi Delta, we're unique in our way, and we know how to persevere. We know how to survive. So if we reach a level of education, if we reach a level of economic success, it's our duty to try to reach back and empower others. You watch it on, you know, the playoffs are on now. NBA cares. Why would they sink millions of dollars in PSAs and ads about people having to spend a couple of hours at a hospital or at someone's school while the people film? When you got people in your everyday society that give back in their communities on a daily basis, and they never get recognized. So we must know that this gift of wanting to give back and wanting to help is needed. So we shouldn't ignore that passion, and we should want to embrace, just as the Mississippi Delta Ceasefire Initiative, you know, it's getting a lot of traction out there. I appreciate the people who are listening and tell me they like our show. And just as, you know, at a time where we're faced with all these odds as far as, you know, trying to get our youth on the right track, why wouldn't a program like Mississippi Delta Ceasefire be loved, or even be
an instrument,
an instrument for change, or just a stepping stone? You can rework it how you want it for yourself if you want to, but just acknowledge that there's a need. And if we're building prisons and we say we want to increase education and decrease our prisons, you know, being built, why not get behind different initiatives that's geared toward that?
Right. Real Conversations with Sean, brought to you by Benter's African Hair Braiding, 1300 Jasper Needle Drive, Grenada, Mississippi. The number is 404-207-3004. Also brought to you by Come and Go Grocery, 1500 Carson Avenue. Go by and get your 2 for $10 t-shirts and your $18 bills. And that's
I wanna send my condolences out to James O.
Oh, Jameson.
Yeah,
Jameson.
James. Oh, I call him James O.
Yeah, Jameson, Mr. Henry Carpenter.
Mr. Henry Carpenter.
Yeah, that was his name in the movie.
The movie The Help.
Jameson.
He was a co-star in The Help. I've known him for a long time, and I want to tell his family that be strong, and our prayers are with you. And you know, James O was the man.
That's right. But yeah, going back to what you said about, you know, the prison system. See, what people have to understand is that prisons are a business. You know, black men are locked up so much, you know, for a reason, not just because of things that they do, but because that's a part of the system. If they were not in jail, then the privateers who own the prison system would not get paid.
I know that, but we got to stop it, though.
Well, I mean, you know, that starts with the politicians, because that translates back to the politicians who their campaigns are funded, and these big donations come from a lot of these people who own the prisons. And
why doesn't it get why doesn't it get a lot of traction, though? Why is it not talked about?
Because they want to keep their pockets greasy. So why would you limit laws that's going to stop your commodity from coming in? Black men are a commodity. The more men go to jail, the more people's pockets are greased. So why would they get up and not advocate a system that's working for them?
So us doing things to ourselves, like black on black crime, or you know, black on black, you know,
all that.
That makes us even more vulnerable.
That's by design.
That makes us even more vulnerable if we're already the hunted,
right?
And then you got all these other ills within our own race or community. That makes us more and more vulnerable, right?
It's not a win. I mean, it's a lose-lose situation.
So we got to go at it a different way.
We got to try to.
We got to go at it a different way. I'm not a perfect person at all, but if any product that I'm turning out, if I have my hands on it and I can try to, you know, change it, I need to be prepared to fix it when I get the opportunity to.
We got to try to. We got to hold our leadership accountable. We must hold their feet to the fire. Learn about your political leaders in oppositions, what their job is. They work for you. You don't work for them. You know, the people choose the politicians. The politicians don't choose us. So they work for us. You know, those are our seats. Anybody could be in that seat. So you need to hold their feet to the fire. If your neighborhood looks the same way or worse than it did 10 years ago, that's your politician's fault. That's not your fault as a collective people. You know, they blame it on the kids on the corner. But these children do not know better. Their parents didn't know better. Their parents didn't know better. The people who knew better have sat back and done nothing and allowed the neighborhood around them to decline while them themselves have prospered.
Well, that has already went on. The ball has been dropped, but we're picking it back up. We're picking it back up, and no one should get in the way of progress. People out there, if you start paying more attention, if you start looking at it, you know, from a more interesting perspective, when you sit down to yourself and think about it, we fight against change, and we've been being more and more vigilant about it as the years go on. And this is 2014. I expect more. I want more for my young people. I want more for my citizens, and whatever we need to do to make that happen from a citizen standpoint, we're gonna do that. And I want everybody to make sure you put yourself in position to prosper at the right time, and make sure you take advantage of a good opportunity, and make sure you're ready when the moment arises.
Once again, Real Conversations with Sean, brought to you by Benter's African Hair Braiding, Grenada, Mississippi. The number is 404-207-3004. And also brought to you by Come and Go Grocery, 1500 Captain Avenue. And don't forget about A1A Contractors, Mr. Alonzo Evans, calling for all your contracting needs.
I want to give a shout out. We got about 1 minute left. We had a few technical difficulties earlier on.
We did. We're still trying to get it right.
Want to holler at Marquis and Kemp down at the barbershop.
That's right.
Big B, he also has a barbershop. You'll be surprised how many conversations go on in the barbershop.
Fellas at Backstreet.
Oh yeah, we doing it all over town. And if we missed you, we still talking about you. Keep doing your thing and be encouraged and help build somebody up today. And try to make this place, and like I said, thumbs up for Easter. From what I saw, the people of Greenwood showed how they really are. And we some classy people. We some dressy people.
Except for the trash they left on Broad Street Park. We got to remember to pick that up next time, folks. Let's not leave it like that.
Okay. That's coming from, he's a politician, y'all. I can't stop him over there once he gets rolling. But that's a good thing, too. And, we want to make sure we do our part to keep our city clean, because every time somebody tell us to clean it up, we have a problem with it. So what we need to do is try to stay up as a city. Let's get stronger. Let's get behind our youth. Get ready to go back to school. If you're already in school, let's go back. We got these tests coming up. The tests not going nowhere. Let's go on and make our requirements so we can all pass to the next grade and graduate and do all the things we need to do to become the next success stories here in the Mississippi Delta, creating a domino effect of success in the Mississippi Delta. Real Conversation with Sean. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jelani.
And we out. Enjoy, y'all, baby.